A live look at the U.S. Capitol building in Washington, where congressmen in the U.S. House of Representatives are considering a rescissions package, which would cut federal funding for public broadcasting and foreign aid. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Brandon Kammerman.
And I'm Kendall Bartley. That money had previously been approved by Congress. It's now set to be slashed.
It's a move that has most Republicans celebrating, while Democrats say it will be dangerous for the country and for the world.
Our national correspondent, Christine Frizzell, gives us a breakdown of what's in the bill.
At the heart of the rescissions package, $9 billion in spending cuts.
It's a small but important step toward fiscal sanity that we all should be able to agree is long overdue.
Republicans celebrating the clawing back of those funds, including about $8 billion in foreign aid they say was wasteful.
$2.2 million to reduce xenophobia towards Venezuelan migrants. $3 million for Iraqi Sesame Street.
Democrats, meanwhile, sounding alarm bells about Sesame Street in the United States and other educational programming for kids, as the bill also cuts more than $1 billion from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, which funds PBS and NPR, which supporters say are relied upon for information in emergencies.
In many remote areas, or if in states like Florida with hurricane season upon us, they rely on a series of public broadcasting to get alerts out.
I am not sure how NPR helps the public safety of our country, but I do know that NPR, unfortunately, has become really just a propaganda voice for the left.
Senator Lisa Murkowski, one of the two Republicans who voted no, also raised concerns that just like the big beautiful bill, this legislation was more a wish from the White House than a creation by Congress.
What we're getting now is a direction from the White House and being told, this is the priority. We want you to execute on it. We'll be back with you with another round.
She and others also raising concerns about the lack of specifics about exactly what will be cut.
Americans will be talking about these cuts at their diners, at the grocery store, at dinner, at the park, because the cuts will be felt everywhere.
This is the first rescissions package that's passed the Senate in more than 30 years, but some warn it may become far more common. One Democratic senator warning the same method will be used when his party is back in charge. I'm Christine Frizzell reporting.
The House of Representatives is currently in the process of debating that funding package. Locally, federal funding for public broadcasting supports Oregon Public Broadcasting, Jefferson Public Radio in Southern Oregon, and KLCC in Western Oregon. KVAL's Gabrielle Bowman joining us now in studio after looking into local impacts and how people in our community feel about those possible cuts. Gabrielle, what did you learn?
Yeah, with the rescissions bill that is going through Congress, KLCC could lose around $300,000 from their budget starting in October. Local educators, parents, and KLCC listeners say they are displeased with this move, expressing how important these stations are to everyone in our area, saying the station provides an important service to the community.
And it would really be a huge detriment to our society to see those really fantastically produced free resources disappear, especially for lower income families.
That they bring and the programs that they bring are super valuable for any age. Doesn't matter how young or old.
Now, this does not mean KLCC will shut down its broadcast. The general manager saying they do get funding from other resources, including donations from the local community. However, future expansion efforts for the station may go at a slower pace.
What does it mean for KLCC? It means probably that some of the plans that we had to expand the news team will have to be looked at very closely with a red pen, to determine whether or not we are in a position to continue expanding, which is what our audience seems to want us to do locally.
KLCC is remaining optimistic during this time of uncertainty. They're looking forward at a path forward without federal funding, and they hope that the path is with support from the local community. KLCC's general manager says even with the funding cuts, their integrity as a source for news will not change. Back to you, Brandon.
All right, thank you, Gabrielle. And we asked you at home, are you worried about these possible cuts to public broadcasting? And you see right now, just over 100 people or so weighing in, and 47 saying yes, about 75 saying no. You can let us know what you think about this. Scan the QR code on your screen. That'll take you to our website where you can let us know how you feel about potential cuts to public broadcasting.
And while public broadcasting awaits its fate, hospitals in Oregon are bidding time as well, with reductions from President Trump's spending bill set to hit by 2027 and 2028. That's according to Lane County Public Health. Eve Gray, the Director of Health and Human Services, says roughly a third of hospital patients in Lane County use Medicaid. Right now, there will be a small number of people impacted during the first several years of the $1 trillion cuts designated in President Trump's spending bill. Gray tells us there's uncertainty as the state prepares for an estimated $10 billion in cuts over 10 years. Gray says she expects hard-hitting penalties will fall on Oregon due to its coverage of anyone regardless of legal documentation status, as long as their income qualifies for Oregon Health Plan or Healthier Oregon.
Any disruption to the funding within our health system has the capacity to create a negative impact on healthcare providers as well as, of course, patients. That could definitely negatively impact the financial situation for our local hospitals. Medicaid does not pay the bills for hospitals. They pay about 60 cents on the dollar, but if that's better than what people can pay in a self-pay status, it puts the hospital in a worse situation.
It's also making an impact on hospitals' ability to make future financial plans, according to Gray. Mackenzie Willamette Medical Center agrees with that. Its CEO saying cuts could jeopardize its plans to build a new emergency room if 200,000 to 300,000 people in Oregon are dropped from Medicaid.
The state's going to have to do something. We have a terrible rate problem in the state of Oregon. When you got 70% of the hospitals break even or a negative margin, and we're included in that number. It's not very encouraging going forward. It could put the nail in the coffin for many hospitals. So it's a crisis. I mean, if hospitals are to survive, they would have to cut services, close down programs, which would be catastrophic.
Something Mackenzie Willamette is also considering. Butler says the hospital has already been reducing costs for years, including combining some roles. So the only step they have left is looking at cutting services. For example, what surgeries they can offer. Now, the state expects reductions in provider taxes over the next couple years, which partially funds state Medicaid. That leaves Oregon with one of several choices. Gray says find billions of dollars in revenue to make up the difference, cut people from Medicaid coverage, reduce services covered by Medicaid, or reduce payments to providers to balance the budget. Now, if you'd like to watch our full interview with Eve Gray, you can find that by scanning the QR code on your screen. That will take you to our YouTube channel. And we also have a lot of other long-form content for you there as well. Well, after a 5-day run of temperatures in the 90s each afternoon, temperatures are beginning to level back off. The cooling trend is making a difference that we can feel. Elsewhere across the state, however, gusty winds and warmer weather are still leading to increased fire weather danger in the forecast. KVAL's Alan Matthews joining us now. Alan, I know leaving yesterday, I could feel those heavy wind gusts.
Yeah, we saw some gusty winds yesterday afternoon. It's really not as much of a problem for us as it is for those fighting the Cram fire right now. They do have a red flag warning until tomorrow night. Now, as far as our area is concerned, those temperatures have dropped nicely today. In fact, we're not actually even in the 90s today in Eugene. We're currently at 87 degrees, and we're seeing a lot of sunshine out there as well. A northeast wind at 5, so not much wind, and that humidity level is a bit better than what we saw yesterday, as it is at 27%, still a little bit on the low side. We look at the radar satellite, and relatively clear skies through the area. The coast did see some cloud cover. That started dissipating as they got into the early afternoon hours, and the coast will see a little bit more cloud cover tonight into Friday morning. Now, as we look ahead, overnight temperatures will be in the mid to upper 50s, and those highs tomorrow very similar to what we saw today. A lot of upper 80s, low 90s along I-5. And as we look at your weather headlines, clear skies for the valleys tonight. We'll see some clouds on the coast, some morning fog for the coast as well tomorrow morning, but it's going to turn cooler as we get to the upcoming weekend. In fact, temperatures could actually drop below average. All your weather details coming up in just a bit.
All right, thank you, Alan. And a lot of exciting news for Portland Trailblazers fans. Yeah, I was checking my watch earlier today and realized It's Dame time again? Yes, he is back. That news breaking earlier today. Damian Lillard signing a 3-year, $42 million deal to return to the Blazers. His return to the Rose City is coming after being traded to the Milwaukee Bucks from the Blazers in late 2023. Lillard dealt with some issues, injuries, including blood clots last season. He tore his Achilles during a first-round playoff series against the Indiana Pacers, and he was then waived by the Bucks with over $100 million remaining in his contract. While he likely won't play for the Blazers next season as he is recovering from that Achilles injury, there are a lot of exciting Blazers fans, including Oregon Senator Ron Wyden, who went to X to say it's about Dame time.
Trash may soon pile up along Oregon highways. That's after ODOT says it will not renew its contract with a highway litter removal company. The agency trying to cut spending amid a major million-dollar budget shortfall. A number of ODOT employees already laid off around the state. Salem Bureau reporter Vasily Varlamos reports.
You may soon notice more trash along Portland area highways, ODOT allowing its contract with Interstate Business Solutions, an Indiana-based highway litter removal company, to expire at the end of the month. The state agency signed a contract with the company in April 2024. Since then, the company's crews have picked up hundreds of thousands of pounds of garbage. The contract was set to expire at the end of June, but ODOT and the company agreed to a 30-day extension. ODOT is paying the company $70,000 for a 3-man crew to continue operations for the rest of July. Morgan Johnston with Interstate Business Solutions says the 3 will handle hotspots and illegal dumping until July 31st.
So whenever someone calls in, there's like couch on the roadside, then our crew would, as they can, get to those different dump sites because it's only one small crew. They would go there to clean up those items.
ODOT says funding is the reason behind letting the contract expire, not performance. Both ODOT and Interstate Business Solutions say they would be open to working together in the future if more funding is allocated to the agency.
We would love to work with Oregon DOT in the future to get to clean up Portland, which has seen so much go on there, and help to clean up the image of the state has been really important to us.
For KVAL News, I'm Vasily Varlamos.
ODOT says drivers should expect longer wait times when it comes to highway cleanups, but that they'll still be done just at a slower rate.